Yes, and I'll just do it right now. So how many have seen DuckTales? There you go, awesome. So we are drawing Scrooge McDuck today. We're only drawing his face, so a portrait. And how many have been in this class before? Any alumni? Oh, great. Well, welcome. So for all you newcomers, right, we're missing something in your pencils. I'm sure you noticed right away. We're missing an eraser. And in this class, we do a very rough concept sketch of a character, which basically means that it's not supposed to be perfect. It should be rough, messy, very loose, very light. And then I'll let you know what to darken a little bit later. But right now, again, just make a very rough sketch of Scrooge. Now, his basic foundation is going to be a circle towards the center of your paper, and I would make it about the size of an orange or a softball. And the way that you sketch out a circle, at least for me, I like to use a natural rotation that I already have my arm. So our arm already kind of does this rotation anyway. Use this to your advantage and lightly press down, start to sketch out a whole bunch of these circles. I usually start on my left side, and I'm going to add a really big letter C curve. As you can see, I'm not making one, so I'm adding in a whole bunch, so that way when we do get to that outlining process, you have a few options, a few lines for yourself. But as you can see, I'm just carving this out, so I'm making this hill at the very top. I'm going to pull down another C curve on my right, so just making a few of these curved lines and connecting them together, and then I'm closing it off right here at the bottom. So a nice rough snowball here. Now to help us out with Scrooge's main details, we need to add a few guidelines. He only has two. The first one is the center line cutting this in half. So I'm going to make a little tick mark there, and then I am pulling this down. So that's going to be that center line. And he only has one more line, which is called the eye line. So that's going to be towards the bottom portion of your paper. I'm just going to pull that across. Now, once you have that, believe it or not, this is the major, this is actually the basic foundation for Scrooge. I'm sure you can all see him on your paper right now. If you can, you have a great imagination, but we still have to add in a few more details. Scrooge is going to be a miser today. He's a little upset, so we're going to have him kind of frowning on your paper, definitely having some issues with his money today, but it's going to be really cool which brush we're going to add to him. To make this, we first want to add the corners of his bill. So I'm going to go right between these lines. They're actually right on top of them. And I'm making a letter C curve here. Now this is also a major feature that you want to keep. So now's the time to go back and darken in that shape. So a really bold letter C there. I'm going to reverse this, make the same thing on this side. So letter C. And then below our two curved lines, we're going to add his bill, at least the upper part of it. So I'm going to go back to my left side. I'll make a space there, add a dot right below it, and then I'm pulling across a really big arch. So slightly in my circle here, I'm just going to pull this out. Nice curved line. That's going to be a part of that upper bill. We also want to connect all these lines together. So I'm just going to make another set of these curved lines. So just rounding out that space. So 1 and 2. And just to add some definition to this, we're going to show some detail for his upper lip. So just below your line, this eye line, I'm making one more arch. I'm just going to pull that across. Now when Scrooge is happy, he usually has what we call smile lines. It's a very human characteristic. We also get this too. But because he's frowning, he has his cheeks that are kind of pushing out, really showing off that expression. So to make his cheeks, we're going to add a few more letter C curves. And this is going to be just surrounding or just kind of cradling that first letter C you made. So I'm going to start at the very top here, and I'm pulling this out, bring that right back in. So a big C curve. That's one cheek, just pulling out. Same thing on this side, so just right above that C curve. I'm going to pull this right back in. And his mouth will be closed, so below the upper bill, I'm going to make two lines. So the first one's going to be on my left side. I'm just going to pull this a little bit down, curved line there. Same thing on this side. And then you just want to connect these together at a bridge.
There's a good one right there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So there we go. Now that right there, believe it or not, is going to finish the lower half of Scrooge McDuck. So right now, I just want to stop, see how you're doing so far. If you need to catch up a few times, but overall, a little progress report. A lot of you are very quiet, but also very studious. You're kind of doing your thing, your zone right now. But if you are liking your Scrooges so far, just give me a thumbs up. Oh yeah, I'm loving that. Very good. Okay, so we have a few no, not really. Just leave me alone. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's actually normal. Do not worry too much about this. We still have to add in one of the most important expressions for the guy. Of course, we have to add the eyes in. Now, because Scrooge is a little upset in this portrait, he's going to kind of pull a Donald, where when Donald's upset, you can definitely tell his eyebrows press all the way down, and you can see that expression. So the same thing goes for Scrooge McDuck. Now, to make his eyes, or the eyebrows first, we're going to add this giant letter V right in front of our circle here. So I'm going to start just a little bit above my eye line. So right about there, I'm first making this sketchy letter U shape. So that's going to be the center of his face. Just keep it light right now. I'm going to pull this out on each side. So just think of a really curved line here. Pull this out. Same thing on this side. Here we go. I also want to add some definition to these eyebrows, to make them look like eyebrows. So I'm going to go back to the middle, right where my letter U is. I'm going to add in a letter C. And now I am darkening this in so I can see it. And then from this, I'm following that line all the way back up. So think of this as a really just stretched out sort of a check mark there. Just showing some more definition to that expression. Same thing on this side. Just going to follow my line all the way up. There we go. And now that we have his eyebrows, we can finally start to work on his eyes. Scrooge is looking very weird right now, very creepy. So we're going to add in his actual eyeballs. And to do this, we're going to go right back to your circle lines. So you see that you have this curve right here. So I'm just going to follow that curve, starting from the eyebrow all the way down to his cheeks. I first want to close this off here. So that's going to be that outer part of his eye on each side. I'm just going to follow it all the way down. And I also want to pull this into his face and pull this up to his eyebrow. So it's going to look like a giant letter J. So I'm going to start his cheek. I'm going to pull this down, so add a little dip, and then bring that right back up. So think of it as a huge letter J curve on each side of his face. Same thing on this side, so I'm going to do that same step. Just going to add that little dip, pull this up. And Scrooge, because he's an older duck, he does wear spectacles on his bill, right? So we definitely need his glasses. There's just going to be two circles sitting right on top of that upper definition that you made, that upper lip. And we also have a line that connects those two circles together. So I'm going to start here. I'm just adding in a circle on my left side, same thing on my right. And then we're just going to connect them with a tiny little hill. There we go. I also want to make sure I can see these. This is very important for Scrooge. So we're going to go back, make sure you darken this in. And we also need to wake him up. Now this is where you can get creative with Scrooge. So if you want to, you can have him looking up or down. You can have him looking maybe cross-eyed, more of a sillier Scrooge, or even dollar bill signs, because of course he's known for loving his money, so you can also have that 2 heart stars, and whatever you want, definitely do it. I'm going to have my Scrooge kind of just a classic look at you, looking right at the camera. So to do this, if you do want to try that out, we're going to place his eyes right here in the center of his face, and right towards the corner. I want to make sure I draw in that entire shape, so I'm going to have these really tall ovals here. So one there, one on that side. And we want to make sure that this is the main focus of your sketch. So the first thing that you should see should be Scrooge's eyes. So once you have whatever shapes you made, whatever symbols, go back, darken this in so we can see it. And also, to take that a step further, you want to shade these in. And I suggest using the tip of your pencil and really pressing down, add in that shading. And that's going to make it stand out even more. So just use that contrast to your advantage. Now I did see that we had a lot of Scrooge fans out there. I'm pretty sure you just have Donald Duck fans in general. So while you're sketching, while you're catching up, I just want to test your knowledge on this character. And if you know the answer, you can just yell it out. You don't have to raise your hand. Now, because a lot of you have seen DuckTales, can anyone name for me the 3 nephews?
Huey, and Louie.
Oh my gosh, just like that. Awesome, so you definitely got it. Now, a lot of people don't know that Donald's girlfriend Daisy, she actually has kind of the same thing that Donald has, where Donald has 3 nephews. Daisy has 3 nieces. Does anyone know what their names are? Oh my gosh, very good job. Yeah, whoever's out there who said it, but that's good. Awesome work with that. And does anyone know how Huey and Dewey and Louie are connected to Donald. Does anyone know what's the connection between them?
Nephews.
What was that?
Nephews.
Nephews, but also, does anyone know that, did anyone know that Donald has a twin sister?
What?
Yeah, he has a twin sister. That is her kids, so he just kind of takes care of them while she's away, but her name is Della Duck. And that is how they're connected together. And of course, that's how also DuckTales is pretty much how that is. So it's really, really interesting. There's a whole duck family out there. You can definitely check it out online. So we have the face of Scrooge. We have to have a few more things available for him. So the next step is working on his eyebrows. The eyebrows, again, are really important to the ducks. Definitely shows emotional change, and they stick out on each side of his face right here. So we're going to add in a few more letter C curves. I'm going to start back on my right. I'm going to pull this out and bring it right back in. So think of it as just cradling that line there. So one more C curve. Same thing on this side. I'm just going to bring this out, right back in. And all the ducks, they also have feathers. And Scrooge, he has actually like really thick feathers on his cheeks, so we're going to add those in too. And to make these, I'm going to go back to his eyebrows. I'm just pulling down a line here. And now I'm going to add in 3 spikes for his feathers. So I'm just going to pull this out. That's one. I'm going to have one just in the center here. And then one on the bottom. Just connect that to his cheek. And then same thing goes on the other side. So you just want to repeat that step. Again, just starting from his eyebrow, I'm just going to pull in a line right here. I'm going to add in one pointing up, one on the side, and then one more at the bottom. And Scrooge, just like Donald, he does have 3 more feathers on his head, like bangs for them. And we're just going to add these in by first going back to that left eyebrow. Now we do need to connect our shapes together, so this is kind of light right now. We have that space there, so we want to darken it into lines while we're doing this. So I'm going to start here. I'm pulling up my line, so just towards that top of your circle there. And then from that, I'm just going to bring one more spike up, a little sharp fin. I'm going to have one more on the side, and then one more on the bottom. 1, 2, and 3. And then from this, you can also just darken in that rest, that shape. Now, because we have his head closed off, we are missing a very important feature that makes Scrooge extremely classy, right? Exactly. So what are we missing? The hat, the top hat, exactly, I heard it. So he is known for wearing a top hat. He also has a cane, right? He's very classy duck, so we're going to add those in. The top hat is just a few more components. So I'm going to first just stick to the top of his head. I'm going to pull up these 2 lines, so one on each side here. So 1 and 2. You just want to close it off in the middle. Pull that all the way across. And the lid, or the lip of the hat, we're going to make that too. So I'm going to start back on my right eyebrow. I'm just going to pull up this sort of check mark, or even this like kind of wonky number 7 here. Same thing on this side, so I'm just going to do that same step. And then we just want to connect these together. So I'm just going to add in this letter U, pull this across, just making that bridge. And the last step is that the top hat has a ribbon that surrounds it. So we're just going to make one more rainbow. I'm just going to pull it from my left to my right. And that's going to finish off that hat. And that right there will actually finish off all your major characteristics for Scrooge. So at this point in your drawing, if there's any lines on him that may look too light or may have gotten smudged on your paper, now is the time to go back and you can start to add a little bit of cleanup work. So if you need to, of course, darken in the hat, make sure you do that now. If you want to add some extra credit, I suggest shading in the hat. So if you want to use the side of your pencil, you can just lightly press down and just add just a really nice even tone to this. So we can definitely just see that better on your paper. But once you do have that complete, you are done with all your major steps for Scrooge McDuck. And your last step, and the most important of all being artists, is anywhere next to him. Go ahead and yes, exactly, sign your name, nice and proud. So there you have it, on your paper, your very own Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales. I know, great job, yeah. So a lot of you I can hear a lot of shading going on. And it's looking very good in the first couple of rows. I see a lot of very intense looking Scrooges out there. But I would love to see everyone's, okay? So we're going to have show and tell. So on the count of 3, just show them off. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Let's see, Scrooge McDuck, nice and proud. Wow, look at you guys go in the background. Love it right there. Awesome work over here too. Nice organized. You definitely see him. Great job over here too. I'm loving his expression. You guys nailed those eyebrows. Very good right here. Very nice over here too. Really big ducks out there. Love the sketchy work. You guys are still working on it over cheers. I don't take it. Very good job with that. Look at him. I love the spectacles. It looks awesome. Look at you guys go right here. Nice and sketchy. You definitely listen to me. Very good job with that. Well, I think you all passed the class. So great work. Give yourself a round of applause for passing. Excellent job with Scrooge. Very good job with him. And folks, thank you so much for drawing. We had a great time. We are drawing another character in about 15 minutes, and we're drawing one of the classics. So if you want to come back and draw Pluto, we would love to have you back for that, of course. But if not, you have a great rest of the day here at the park, and class is dismissed.
Do I want to pause?
I want to thank my